So I also wanted to kind of dig in a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey, right? You have been working. What kind of sparked your interest in kind of going the entrepreneurial route?
Yeah. Well, I'll start by saying the only reason I can do all this is because I have a lot of help. I have an amazing partner that really does is 50-50 with me and everything we need to do with the kids and the home. And my parents live with us most of the year. So I have a lot of help, which is why I have been able to like scratch this itch I've had for like something of my own. But the origin story on why it started, I think it was a mix of becoming a mom and the shock of COVID. So I became a mom in March 2020. We went into the hospital and people were talking about COVID, and we came out and everything was shut down. So I come home with a new baby in a pandemic, full-blown world pandemic. And that kind of shakes you on like what's important and what you care about. But I think the biggest driver was like once I became a mom, what is important kind of started shifting in me and what I cared about and what I valued most. Like my framework kind of changed a little bit. I'm still a learner at heart, right? And everything I'm doing them because there is again that white space on where I can grow. But it started out as this idea of I want to maximize the time I'm spending with my children for those 18 years that I have them, because then they'll go fly, build their own life and their own home. But I am not ready to be a stay-at-home mom. I love being a professional. I love tackling challenges. It's part of my identity. I mean, I moved countries for the opportunity to go to better schools and build a better career. So that's deep into who I am. So I start as I was up with my kids most of the night. I didn't have very good sleepers. I started doing research into like what are side businesses, new ideas that I could lean into. Read about this idea of a portfolio career that sounded interesting. And in true product manager, I'm like, what if I could A/B test this? And the first actually steps were through there were a few coaching platforms that had reached out to me and asked if I wanted to coach people interviewing. And I'm like, "Oh, that sounds great." I would have loved to have someone help me when I was going through interviews. So that's where it started. Like very little, an hour a week, an hour a month, depending on the month when people needed help. And I found a lot of joy in being able to help people. And as I grew in my career and I became more of like a people manager, I found this like profound joy in like seeing someone on my team be able to excel at what they were doing or take on a new responsibility. And I got a lot of good feedback on, like, how I was approaching those nurturing and helping people grow in their career type of problems. So that's kinda where Swolta became, and it was also another idea with my partner. I'm like, we love one of the things I love a lot of things about him, but one of the things I love about him is his brain, and I love having just nerdy discussions about different topics. He's a data guy, engineer and data, and I'm more on the product side. So I'm like, what if we did this together and found projects where we can come in at different angles and it's quality time for us. It's something we both love doing, and maybe it can become something. So that's how Swolta was born. Just Svolta is the name is from the word svolta, which means a step forward in Italian, and I changed the V for a W for his last name. So we're hoping to whoever we work with, if it's a person that I'm just coaching on their next interview, or a startup that is figuring out their data strategy, or right now I'm helping a startup hire their first head of product. I'm helping them figure out how they interview for a head of product. Any of those, we hope that we can help whoever we're working with to make a change in their direction, right, and move in the right direction. So that's kind of where it all started. The bungalow story is a little different, tied back to COVID. I was at home a lot, and I have this like little baby now, so like this desire to create a more homey environment, and I became almost obsessed with like everything had to be organic and everything we eat and everything we wear. And so I started looking into brands that are good quality, and that's how I met Shay, actually the founder of Bungalow. And she was a fellow mom, had the company for a while. She's an artist, so she came up with all the initial patterns, and she was looking to do something new. And it just felt like a beautiful project and a beautiful company with a beautiful brand, and that stood for something I stood for. And going back to that white space, I have done product. I can run a product team. I have worked with marketing. I have never run an e-commerce business. I don't know much about home decor. So there's plenty for me to grow, but there's a base, right? I can still run the operations. I know how to do a P&L. So there's enough for me to get started and then still grow. So that's why I eventually bought the brand late last year. And it's been great